Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Innovation Talk Let's Exchange series. I am Caroline Denous, the Global IoT Marketing Manager here at Schneider Electric. So there are few industries in the world as important as healthcare, and the world is feeling it now more than ever before. It's a sector that quite literally write the line between the most monumental or critical moments in one's life, and any sort of malfunction can be extremely dangerous. So I want to give you a quick fact that I read in Robert Spry's Forbes article last week, that on average, patients are hooked up to a minimum of 5 electrical devices during their stay. And if they need high pressure oxygen or a ventilator, this number of electrical devices can be 2 to 3 times that number. So quite literally, you name it and it's plugged in. So although there are a lot of moving parts to a hospital daily operation, one of the most important aspects that must be considered is power quality. Now, power quality problems are a major cause of downtime and financial loss. So some of the estimates are as high as $188 billion per year in the US and over 150 billion euros for Europe. So over the next hour, we are going to break down resilient power supply, how to adapt, respond, and protect infrastructure during those natural disasters, and also some of the value seized through augmenting our workforce with remote monitoring and management. But also you will understand how IoT is helping through this dynamic time of crisis. So today we are welcoming our power and healthcare experts that are here to share with us the landscape of this industry, share their tips, but also their testimonials. So we will be welcoming Michael Sullivan, Schneider Electric Building Segment President, Alexis Grenon, Schneider Electric SVP of Digital Power, but also Wade Leipold, who is from Phase Technology and he is the VP Solution. So you can use the chat along the session to ask your question. Our experts are here to answer them, and we will be taking some orally at the end of the session. So I think we are good to go now. So I will go to you, Mike. Can you share with us critical facilities such as healthcare are operating at max capacity right now. So more than ever, they need resilient operation. Can you share with us how are the hospital impacted in relation to provide resilient power supply?
Yes, thanks, Caroline. As you know, even in normal times, power reliability is a key part of patient safety. I mean, you can just think of people that are in the middle of an operation in the intensive care unit or anywhere in the hospital and a power fails. It's very significant. Think of all of the instruments that would be failing and the people that have to use flashlights in the middle of an operation. But now think of the COVID crisis, right? With all of the people that we have on respirators in critical care, and a power outage at this time would just be really bad. I mean, you can pump them, hand pump them to keep them going by nurses, but we don't even have the staff that we need. Power reliability is behind the scenes, and it's critical. It's critical. And as we get through this crisis, and as we start to think about what we need to do better in terms of just that part of power reliability, it's our point of view that we need to start thinking about more reliable IoT-based power. Why? And the reason is for two, because we need to be able to predict failures before they happen. There are things in hospitals, sometimes 10, 20, 30-year-old transformers that we check, but we really don't know what's going on inside them. And if we could use analytics to predict that, we could avoid a failure. And two, especially during the COVID crisis, our facility people are so busy running around, and we need to be able to tell them where to go at the right time. So for this, our point of view is we need to move more and more to an IoT-enabled electrical distribution structure for that, as well as to be able to allow remote expertise to help when they can.
I will ask you the next question to you, Alexis. So welcome back. How does resilient power apply to the healthcare industry, and what are the challenges that we can have?
Well, I hope you're going to hear me now. During uncertain times, our customers need us more than ever. ensuring safe and reliable power for patient and staff well-being is still top of mind. The difference now is that healthcare facilities are running critical operations at maximum time during these days and need to adjust to fluctuating business priorities. This puts additional pressure on ensuring critical operations are running smooth by avoiding power quality issues and securing uninterrupted power. As a matter of fact, a power outage puts patient lives at risk and can cost more than $1 million per 8 hours for a 200-bed hospital. Electricity is still one of the leading causes of fire in healthcare facilities. A single electrical shock in an operating theater can destroy the work of the medical team and endanger the lives of staff and patients. Last but not least, dirty power within the healthcare facility can damage critical and expensive medical equipment, such as MRI. So the goal is to minimize downtime and ensure power availability through digitized electrical distribution and uninterrupted power supplies. Schneider Electric EcoStruxure Power Solution allows to maintain business continuity during these times. It leverages proactive digital tools to prioritize maintenance approach, support engineering staff with the right information at the right time, and gathers data remotely to identify area of risk.
Thank you so much, Alexis. So, Mike, how can healthcare facilities move the needle in implementing smart and reliable power, leverage digital tools, and how will that help during this time?
Yeah, I know. As said earlier, there's a couple of areas. One is you have to think of the intensive care units, the critical areas too, and what can we do to, number one, predict a power failure before it occurs? Because a lot of these things, even if you check box by box, unit by unit, you can't always tell what's happening inside the electrical distribution. And so by using advanced analytics that you can get with an IoT connection, you could predict that. And that would be number one. And that would be for what we're talking about, the critical intensive care units, but also for data centers and the IT systems, because as you know today, hospitals are run on electronic health records and healthcare IT, and to keep all of that robust and working at the same time. But then the second part of it is as Wade was referring to earlier, is that especially at this time, all the time, but especially at this time, facility managers are very busy. The staff is very busy, dealing with the emergency, and to be able to help them be more efficient, to focus them in on those things that really need care right now in the electrical, and maybe to ignore the rest that we know is green, is good, but just focus could make our facility staff much more efficient. So I think that's where digital could make a big difference.
Thank you so much, Mike. So let's welcome Wade again. So Wade, you're part of Phase Technology and one of our critical power eco-expert partners. So you've been very, very active in supporting your customer delivering critical power. So can you share with us, based on your experience, what are the key success factors in the project to design, but also to implement secure and resilient power infrastructure for hospital?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. As we've been discussing, healthcare facilities are under an extreme amount of demand right now. In that power design and implementation, it's critical that it's resilient and secure. It really starts with proper planning and involvement of all the stakeholders, from general contractor to the electrical contractor to the end customer themselves. It's vital that all stakeholders have a firm understanding of the customer's needs and the use cases of that facilities. As part of this process, the electrical contractor should also work with and educate the customer on solutions that drive more robust design, create safer environments, and increase productivity and efficiency. As we stated, there's a lot of technology available today, and it's important that we work with our customers so they have a better understanding that they can more efficiently and productively run their facilities, especially with an ever-decreasing facility personnel. Also, in order to be successful though with the design and implementation, it's important that the electrical contractor is partnered with a power equipment manufacturer. When working with that equipment manufacturer, you'd obviously expect the manufacturer needs to have superior products, great communication, be responsive, have extensive distribution networks, and short lead time. Schneider has all of these characteristics, but there is more. I think when partnering with someone, you need to look at what's their overall value proposition. Just looking internally, I look at Faith, and I believe customers choose Faith due to our overall value proposition. Our ability to start with the design, to engineer, to pre-manufacture, prefabricate and manufacture through our sister company Accelerate, then to construct, support, and maintain through our ISHN program, and continuously improve. We can support the entire life cycle of an asset and become a one-stop shop for our customers. And we look for these same qualities when partnering with Schneider, a company that provides a full line of solutions from electrical gear to energy monitoring and analytics to building automation and everything in between. The last thing to take into account when designing and implementing is really understanding that supply chain, especially in today's day and age when supply chains are under extreme demand and overall building and deployment is mandatory. We need to get things in place as fast as we possibly can. It's imperative that we choose designs that use common components, are readily available, and to also work closely with your equipment manufacturer on forecasting upcoming needs. By following these processes, we've been very successful in quickly designing and developing resilient solutions that are meeting the immediate needs of healthcare facilities.
Thank you, Wade. So just like you mentioned, hospital facilities are at max capacity right now. So how do you augment people to face this challenge with your power solutions?
Yeah, this is obviously something that's very, very important. So not only do we need resilient and secure power, but how do we provide that connected capability to them so that they can see and remotely monitor their facilities. Two big things that we're seeing out there, and Mike mentioned it, is really a limited number of facility personnel and that lack of remote visualization and control and predictive capabilities. As we know, healthcare facilities tend to be quite complex. It consists of numerous buildings throughout a location, or it can potentially be several satellite locations and offices. As facility teams continue to reduce in size and there's ever increasing demand, it's important that we provide that design that creates overall visualization, it's secure, allows for event notification and remote control capability. Additionally, to increase resiliency, healthcare facilities need better predictability. They need to understand what's going to happen in their power distribution system before there are any issues. EcoStruxure platform has the tools to meet these challenges, from energy metering to edge control software like Power Monitoring Expert and EcoStruxure Building Operations, the cloud-hosted applications like Power Advisor and Asset Advisor. These tools allow for that remote support. They can highlight power quality issues and provide predictive insights. It's for that reason when we partnered with Bolt and HGA in building the STAT modular ICU facility. And these are very quickly deployable intensive care units to support the influx of patients that healthcare facilities are seeing. We incorporated Power Monitoring Expert along with EcoStruxure Building Operations, and we decided to host it in the cloud. These tools allow for not only remote monitoring of the power distribution system, but the overall facility status from HVAC to patient bed monitoring to medical gas, all in the absence of having facility personnel on site. Additionally, it allows for alarming and event notification for out of ordinary conditions, allowing for facility teams to quickly respond.
Have you seen any regulation and compliance requirements loosened recently for faster deployment, for example?
Yeah, we have seen some relaxation in the standard regulations and compliance, but it's really based on use and the permanency of the facility, really how long that facility tends to be used. Regardless though of the regulations or compliances, power resiliency and secure power it's an absolute must, especially when talking about critical care facilities such as intensive care units. There can't be power disruptions. Patients' lives literally depend on it. and ventilators that cannot be shut off. To this end, we've been working on two main solutions. Each of them have a little bit of a different use case. The first is the STAT modular ICU unit, which I previously mentioned. This can really act as a standalone hospital. This type of facility requires really the greatest amount of resiliency since it is an intensive care unit. And it's supported by Square D gear along with a backup generator and ASCO automatic transfer switches. Additionally, as I mentioned, the facility has full energy monitoring and metering. It utilizes Power Monitoring Expert and EcoStruxure building operations for that visualization and control of the facility. The second solution that we've come to market with is what we're calling an emergency deployable medical unit, referred to as an EDMU. This is a containerized solution for temporary or mobile use, such as patient testing, patient care, triage, or laboratory space. Power redundancy for this unit may not be as great depending on what that use case is, but having secure power still is, and it's supplied by that Square D gear, and is configurable for use with a backup generator if required. As this unit is mobile, the ability to use energy metering along with the Power Monitoring Expert and System Health can provide that dashboard, really that power status and health for the entire fleet wherever they're deployed. With both of these solutions, it was very important to us. We knew what the use case was, we knew who the customers were, but we did not know where these units were necessarily going to be deployed. They could be in a parking lot of a shopping center or a parking lot of a healthcare facility. Given that fact, we wanted to make sure that they were standalone units, and we didn't know how facility managers and personnel were going to look after them. We wanted to give them that remote capability where they could be anywhere and have that overview of the current status of those sites.
Thank you so much, Wade, for all of those great insights. So I will go back to Alexi now. So Alexi, looking ahead, how do you envision the hospital designing for surge management and ensure resilient power for the future?
Right. First, thanks, Wade, for these examples. Really impressive what Faith Technologies has put together to address the crisis situation in a very short time. When you look at the healthcare facilities of the future, they need to be fully digitized with connected products, sensors, power monitoring, protection devices installed in every part of the electrical network. So the data from these smart and connected devices will be used in the edge, by the edge software or in the cloud to enable more autonomous and proactive approaches to operations and maintenance for improved safety, reliability, efficiency, and lower OPEX. So this will ensure clean, stable power is available 24/7. I want to share with you the case of the Washan Hospital that illustrate how digitization of electrical distribution with EcoStruxure can achieve that. Their challenges was to ensure safer, more reliable care and a more comfortable patient experience using digitization to create cutting-edge hospital. They wanted to upgrade their original building automation system to reduce logistical bottlenecks and to improve the quality and safety of power consumption to eliminate hidden dangers that could lead to downtime, reduce equipment lifetime, or suboptimum operation. And eventually, they also wanted to reduce energy cost. So the solution that they implemented is they turned to digitization as a solution, and it's now really a true showcase of a hospital of the future. They increase patient safety, improve power reliability, and gain operational efficiency with EcoStruxure solution. So what they've implemented in terms of fully digitized electrical distribution enabled real-time insights and proactive approach to power safety. First, by collecting data on power and environmental condition with connected products such as PowerLogic meters, SmartX IP controllers, valve and actuators, temperature sensors, ATS automatic transfer switch, and CBUS lighting control. Those connected products send data that were processed into actionable information by the edge software, such as EcoStruxure Power Monitoring Expert and EcoStruxure Building Operation. And eventually, the hospital subscribed to EcoStruxure Power Advisor services to leverage all the expertise of Schneider Electric in power quality that has been packaged through powerful analytics. So the result, 20% increase in management efficiency. For example, better supervised electrical equipment to identify potential hazards. Digitization allowed Huashan Hospital staff to take a proactive approach to patient and staff safety, since the power quality was monitored to improve operational efficiency. This allowed to identify issues before they arrive, really digitization enabling predictive and preventive maintenance, and provide a more seamless experience from patient check-in through discharge. They also achieved 18% reduction in energy consumption. The Huashan Hospital saw a dip in energy consumption and gained in operational efficiency. They enjoyed greater visibility and reliability with EcoStruxure solutions while enhancing patient safety. So that's really a very good example of how EcoStruxure Power enabled to achieve those gains.
Indeed, that's very, very promising story that we have here. So, Mike, what's your perspective for hospital of the future? What are the 3 key things they must keep in mind in relation to digital dependability, in your opinion?
Yes, I think that the first thing to keep in mind is that the power can fail in a hospital. Is if we look at the risk from the utility is relatively low in many countries, and it's well covered with the redundancy, the switchover, and the backup generator. But the underlying risk, the big risk, is inside the electrical infrastructure of the hospital itself. It's the old transformers and the old network that could fail, and they do fail. We know they fail, though they're not so public about that when they do fail. And that's the risk we're talking about, especially at a time like this when power needs to be up. So I think you've heard it from the other speakers quite a bit. And the key from our point of view is that we've done a lot for power reliability over the past 50 years with regulations and with more reliable electrical components. But now with digitization, we really need to move to that next step. And that is to overcome not only components that can fail, but also gaps in maintenance and things like this. And digitization will provide that. One, with prediction, and second, with remote maintenance, and third, with the efficiency of the staff itself. And so, and what that is dealing with then, of course, is to keep these ICUs up and running, to keep the healthcare IT up and running, and also to ensure the peace of mind of the patients and the staff that already have high stress levels at this time, and at any time, that things are okay. Pass it on to the next speaker.
Thank you so much, Mike. Another angle I think that is quite important is the importance of the power of a digital ecosystem. So it's critical because today no one innovates alone, right? So Alexi, how does power experts stay connected to their peers to share knowledge, best practices, but also business solutions?
Well, the power experts can leverage digital collaborative ecosystem to connect with their peers. Schneider Electric Exchange Platform is an open ecosystem business platform where experts can register to and access active communities, technical resources such as API, dataset SDKs, knowledge-based information, and it's also a marketplace. It's a dynamic digital platform where you can discuss with peers and service providers to solve your business problems, but also bring help to others. There's a marketplace, that's a marketplace where you can list your digital offers and make them available to the community too. Today, 50% of the offers are from third-party companies. So it's both a community platform where experts can exchange best practices and solutions, and also it's a marketplace. I really encourage you to go visit and register to the platform. It's a great tool to support business continuity as well as to step up on training and upskilling.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Alexis. So if anyone is interested, you can just easily go to exchange.se.com. So I think this is a perfect time to turn to questions. So let me see what we have here. So the first question could be going to Mike. So it's a question from Laure. So how can hospitals prepare for future to ensure they have continuous power availability no matter the scenario?
Oh, I think that's no matter the scenario, continuous. Okay, you never get 100% perfect, right? Never get 100% perfect. That we have a real opportunity today in the year 2020 forward to get another jump in power reliability. You know, you think about what happened at the turn of the century before they even had fuses, right? What would happen? And then the invention of the circuit breaker, there was a big jump in reliability. And then the regulations that came to hospitals to be sure they have redundancy. Each time we get better, but yet still there's a risk of a failure in a part of the hospital, oftentimes a wing of the hospital, that still occurs. Sometimes it's only for a half an hour, that's too long for an ICU. That's too long for critical areas. So now it's what you've heard earlier. I mean, it's not what all three have been sharing, is it's time to digitize your electrical distribution. Take your old electrical distribution, the most critical assets, bring them online, step by step, right? The most critical ones. And anything that's new, any new hospital, any new wing, any new upgrade, make sure that you've got smart circuit breakers, smart panels, or smart enabled, right? Where you can put things like Wade and what Alexi was talking about, power monitoring expert, to be able to look at those assets, and then to put advanced analytics on top so that the facility staff can be more efficient, and you can bring in remote experts, whether there's COVID or a pandemic or not. You don't have to enter the hospital to bring experts in to tell you what's going on, to assist the facility staff. This is a new normal, right? We need to move into the age of digitization and electrical infrastructure of our hospitals.
Thank you so much, Mike. Very clear message. I have a question for Wade from Sandeep. So in light of the current global climate, how do you provide resilient, dependable power for crisis response situation?
It's a great question. As we talk, you know, healthcare facilities are at their max. We're looking at temporary facilities and how do we pair that up, and how do we even supplement some of the current healthcare facilities that are out there to make sure they are more resilient. You know, given this, a resilient deployable power source and module are needed. The technology, though, it's obviously very, very useful, and it's needed in today's day and age and in the crisis we're seeing. But these can support a variety of needs, and there can be used for healthcare, industry, data, even cellular facilities during natural disasters, and utility outages like we've been experiencing over the past year on the West Coast in California here. You know, in partnership with Schneider, we have two solutions that we've designed to meet these needs. The first is a pre-engineered deployable power module that comes with the same security, ASCO, and APC equipment you would find in a healthcare facility, a conventional healthcare facility. These portable, durable, and reliable units can be used in a variety of instances and offer great flexibility with over 18 permutations in voltage and categories and sizes, ranging from 500 kVA to 1,000 kVA. They also have options to be equipped with the IoT-enabled EcoStruxure system architecture, again, allowing for that remote monitoring of the module's environmental conditions, current capacities, and performance. The second solution we've been working on with Schneider is a co-branded microgrid solution. So using that alternative energy. You know, this solution is great if you don't have a utility feed, but it also increases resiliency on a gridded solution and can help reduce overall energy costs at the same time. This solution is equipped with the IoT-enabled EcoStruxure system, architecture, again, allowing for that remote monitoring of the module's environmental conditions, current capacities, and performance. The third solution we've been working on with Schneider is a co-branded microgrid solution. So using that alternative energy. You know, this solution is great if you don't have a utility feed, but it also increases resiliency on a gridded solution and can help reduce overall energy costs at the same time. This solution is equipped with the IoT-enabled EcoStruxure system, architecture. And again, as we've continued to mention, this helps with that remote monitoring. You can tell the environmental conditions for that microgrid, current capacities and performance. Now, both of these solutions have hit the marketplace. They've been well received, and they're gaining a lot of attention from our healthcare facilities out there.
Thank you so much, Wade. I have a question for Alexi coming from Dana. So, Alexi, why is power quality a specific challenge for hospital?
Well, Dana, first, these are very special buildings, obviously, because they deal with the life of people. So we talked about uptime. We talked about the need for uninterrupted power supply at length. So I will not reiterate a lot of things that Wade and Michael and Mike has said. But it's also a special building where you have very special assets. You have very large and very expensive equipments, such as a medical imaging machine, MRI, CTs, more and more robots. They are very sensitive to poor power quality. You take the example of a scanner, MRI machine. Impact can be either damage to the imaging equipment or introduction of artifacts into the image that invalidates the results. MRI machine can start to introduce imaging artifacts with a 10% voltage sag. And the artifact gets more pronounced as the sag deepens. One hospital MRI machine in Mexico, for instance, was rendered inoperable for over 30 days due to sag generated internally. And as Mike was referring, it may not come from outside. It's generated inside the building. Harmonics can cause biomedical equipment, such as ventilators, to malfunction or reset, and will reduce also the lifespan of the connected equipment. And last, I'll give a last example. In an operating theater room, the staff must be properly insulated from increasing number of electrical equipment connected to the network. So these are all the very special characteristics of a hospital that make power quality so important. It's not only about uptime and uninterrupted power supply. That's also linked to the complexity and the cost of the equipment inside the hospital.
Thank you so much, Alexi. I have one to Mike from Aparna, and you feel free to jump in, Wade and Alexi, if you want to compliment. But so the question is, how does digitization help in lower energy footprint?
So on the energy footprint, if you're going to get away from safety and look at energy efficiency, it's broader than the topic that we're talking about today of just the electrical infrastructure, right? Half of the energy in a hospital is used by the HVAC system, heating and cooling, and all those air changes that are needed. In intensive care units, depending on the country, 10, 15 times an hour, an operating theater 20 times an hour. It's burning lots and lots of energy, even a patient room twice an hour. So to be able to monitor that and to find inefficiencies in the HVAC system is a big source of energy savings. That's digitization, right? To be able to look at maybe in some cases in a hospital, there can be thousands of different valves and heating and cooling, and to find number 1, 2, 3, 4, we have the maximum energy leakage. You can do it in terms of energy cost, or you can sort it by energy or patient safety as to what are the problems that actually are impacting the safety of patients. For example, right now with COVID, they need to be on negative pressure rooms. Are you sure that they're negative pressure? Do you have time to check that? So using analytics and digitization in terms of energy, I would say it's mainly on the HVAC system, but there is another component of the electrical distribution because it's on the electrical systems where we have lots of power meters, right, that are measuring how much energy is being used in different parts of the hospital, right? And you can compare one hospital to another or one section to another and see things that are abnormal. Why is that patient room all of a sudden using way more power or this operating theater than another? And that's where some of the solutions we heard from earlier from Alexi and Wade, Power Monitoring Expert tied seamlessly into a building management system can help alert facility staff as to areas where energy may be wasted and that where you could intervene. So it's a broader, more business as usual question in terms of efficiency in a hospital, but digitization certainly makes a difference there.
Thank you so much, Mike. The next question is, I think it can go to any of you who knows the answer. So it's coming from Nikolai, sorry. So integration of your apps, one with the other, will help a lot. I use EcoStruxure IT and Power. Would it be possible to have it under the same app? Does EcoStruxure IT and Power can be used under the same app?
Well, I'll get a crack at that. I'm not sure at this stage for this kind of system we can talk about apps, but definitely the software that are running each part of the facility, whether it's building management or power management, get integrated together. I think Mike was talking about the integration of Power Monitoring Expert and EcoStruxure Building Operation. That allows really to contextualize, for instance, energy consumption data and have the understanding of energy consumption per patient, allow customers to benchmark different hospitals when they have different set of facilities. So the integration between the different software and the exchange of data through the digitization definitely allows to contextualize the data and provide meaningful information. Now, when you talk about all the EcoStruxure IT, you're talking about potentially a data center, and more of those hospitals are treating a large amount of data. So the integration of those different spaces can definitely generate a lot of benefit. Well, Mike, do you want to complement that?
No, and just that, when it comes to facility management, it's about the uptime of all of those things. And so, one of the benefits of, let's say, EcoStruxure and the cloud-based architectures that we have and are evolving is to be able to bring all that information into a more common way. So we've got a lot of specialist type of analytics that can look just, for example, at UPS systems or at data systems, data centers, but also the electrical distribution architecture to be able to bring all of that information to a facility manager to maximize uptime. So I think that's another component of it, is that all of these things, energy efficiency, reliability of things, require specialist analytical solutions, but at the same time, bring them to facility people in a simple way. The right information at the right time that can make a difference.
Thank you so much, Mike. So the next question, and I think it will be the last one that we will be taking, so I will address it to Wade, but again, feel free to complement if you have any ideas. So Wade, what are your solutions for maintaining operation when deployed remotely and with limited resources?
That's a great question, and something we're starting to experience more and more. One of the things, obviously, we went towards a cloud-hosted application to allow that to log in and be able to see how that facility is operating wherever you're located. Additionally, at Faith, we're creating that electrician technician of the future, which I briefly mentioned as that ISHN, training them on building, Schneider EcoStruxure platform, the building management, and the energy monitoring. Our intent is to work with our end customers where they have limited resources, actually be able to supplement them and have our heavily trained technicians be able to go out and service and oversee their facilities.
Thank you so much, Wade. Alexi, Mike, do you want to complement or?
Well, so and Mike was talking about our apps and analytics. If you take the example of Power Advisor, Power Advisor allows to really retrieve data from your remotely deployed asset and to remotely have an assessment of the power quality and uptime of your facility. So typically those type of advisor services really enables remote resources to understand how the asset is behaving, whether it's ICU or whether it's even a larger hospital, remotely. So number one. Number two, with the analytics that are embedded into those advisor solutions, you really package the expertise that Schneider Electric has built up along the years on the understanding of power quality, the understanding of building management, if you take the example of building advisor as well. And that allows to provide insights to limited amount of resources who may not have the competency to go deep into problem solving, but can really leverage the service from those advisors to take actions.
Thank you so much, Alexis. We actually have one last question coming in that could go to Mike. It's from Suraj. So with the recent experiences in the healthcare sector, is there any need of regulation required to be implemented for more efficient outcomes?
I think it's time, this is my point of view, but I think it's time to increase the regulations on electrical distribution to include intelligence. The thing is that, apart from COVID, even like if we go back 2-3 years ago, there was a fire in 2 hospitals in Saudi Arabia that killed 24 people from electrical fires. And if we could have predicted what happened ahead of time, it wouldn't have happened. We've seen similar things happen in India, and even in France. Several years ago there was something like that. Is the U.S. there's every hospital in the world where if we could reduce that risk, even though it's small, without a major cost, because budgets are tight. If we put the intelligence in, when we put new electrical distribution in, and the intelligence is already there, it's not going to cost more. The ability to put analytics on top doesn't cost that much more, is going to make a big difference in patient safety. So I personally, and from my point of view, I think that the regulation should move, because it's a regulatory driven industry. And if we can be safer, and it doesn't cost that much more, then we should do it.
Thank you so much, Mike. So I'm checking at the question. I think we're good to conclude. So very appreciated of your time. I know everyone's time is very precious right now. So thank you for jumping in and taking the time to have this discussion with us. And that concludes today's session. So thank you everyone for being with us today. I hope this discussion has been fruitful for you and that you are leaving us with some good takeaways. So if you like the session and wish to receive any complimentary information as well as future Innovation Talk invitation, feel free to fill in the form that we will be sending out on the chat. We will see you actually in a few weeks to talk about critical manufacturing. So until then, I wish you a great day to come and to stay safe. Bye-bye.